Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Owiti is in the building. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Monique.
How was the traffic?
Crazy.
You don't even look like you experienced traffic. You look all dapper and fresh.
You must know how to manage stress.
Right.
Yeah.
In the month of love or generally?
Generally. You
Okay.
must know how to suppress stress. Especially traffic is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it gives you a lot of stress, but you know how to manage it.
Yeah, you just have to find ways.
Yes.
Very nice. Good to see you. You look great. You look
Thank you.
well. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Owiti, the Director of Communications at Usiku Games. And it's all about gaming for social good. As soon as I heard Usiku Games, thank you, crowd. As soon as I heard Usiku Games, I was like, what a name. Why Usiku Games?
So it's interesting that, where the name emanated from.
Right.
We wanted to find alternative games for Kenyans because especially those who live in peri-urban and in the rural areas and in the slums.
Yes.
You realize people go to sleep very early because one, there's no electricity, or they have to conserve the little paraffin that they have.
Yes.
And so most of the people would be on their smartphones.
Yes.
So we said, okay, so let's have Usiku games. And that's how it came about. Because
Wow.
people go to sleep very early in the
Yes.
rural areas and those areas that I've just mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty genius, just
Yeah.
to know that people can do a little bit extra with their time in the evenings. You know, you don't have to end your day just like that.
Yes.
And to see how this is all about social good. It's not just games to pass time. It's all about social good. And that's the main focus for Usiku Games. Tell us more about the design of this entire concept, gaming for good.
So gaming for good is a new concept. I would say that it's an alternative concept to gaming, to your conventional gaming that you're used to. Guys are used to playing PS,
Yes.
right now they're on PS5.
Right.
But the idea of gaming for good was to create something that would, have a social impact. You're playing, but it's influencing your behavior in a more positive manner.
Right.
That after the game, you'd go and do something different. And our games are relevant and non-violent. As you can see, most of the games that are played on this, I'm not bad-mouthing them.
I hear you.
But the games that guys are playing are either violent in a way, either they're doing guns or they're sexualizing women in a way.
Right.
So, and that is what we wanted to move from, to be a bit different. So
Right.
you're playing this game, either you're planting trees. So we have a game called Seed Balls. So you're planting trees, and after you play, and your points can be able to be converted into cash, and you're able to contribute to a cause.
Right.
That is interesting.
Wow, I think that's interesting. But my
Yeah.
question also, comes through how hard a sell that is in this generation where content has been sexualized.
Yes.
And there's sports betting everywhere you go. And the kids are hooked. And this is how they spend their money. This is designed to have gaming for social good as the focus. How do you get people roped in and interested? You mentioned games including Seed Balls. There's another one I've seen here called Let It Rain, a game that was developed to the weather forecast and to help farmers plan accordingly when it comes to planting their crops. And I'm thinking, how do you make that sexy? How do you make people get drawn into something like that when they're so conditioned to sports betting? And, as you mentioned, there was the PS5, all the craze.
Yes. Yeah.
This is so different.
Right.
Isn't that a risk? And how do you get people roped in?
It is a risk, but look at it this way. We have a number of our population is growing in terms of the youth. So we have like 300 million youths in Africa.
Right.
And you realize that most of them are looking for something different that they can do. A majority are looking for something different that can impact on their lives. And thus you realize when you look at Let It Rain, the game,
Yes.
it was able to reach out to 100,000 Kenyans, So the fact that somebody is looking for, it is also accompanied with content that is somebody is looking for. For instance, we are all on our smartphones every day. But if I can play a game and it's giving me the content that I'm looking for,
Right.
that makes it interesting. So from a focus perspective, when you're looking at the weather,
Yes.
and you're able to plan yourself, and you're a youth in Eldoret,
Right.
you're in a youth in Kakamega, and we are almost getting into a planting season right now. So look at that. It's interesting in itself. So it doesn't just take your your mind away. You've just played and you got tired. No, it leaves you with some knowledge that you need to acquire to be able to do something different.
I love it, and I'm drawn in by, what got me. What I found the most interesting was how positive it is.
Yes.
It gives me a glimmer of hope to know that, it's a niche, but there's people who are craving for this kind of content.
Yes.
Gamification has been big business, and we also know that there's a lot of budding creators coming up with these amazing concepts. What's the scene like on the continent? Because people are finding different ways to entertain themselves and still make a little bit of money. I think this is genius. And I like that there's the backdrop of, gaming for good. How's the scene, gaming on the continent?
I just want to give you, a scenario whereby, when Usiku Games started in 2017, it started somewhere in the slums in Kibera. And he was able to give opportunities to the young creatives, the young developers.
Right.
And currently we are employing over 20 people within the Gaming Development Center, which is based in Parklands.
Wow.
So you find that we have game developers who just come from our own universities. These are not guys from the Silicon Valley, but our own Silicon Valley in Kenya. So you find that the gaming industry itself is worth $120 billion.
Say that again?
That's worldwide.
120
$1 billion worldwide. And that is a lot of money that we want to tap into. And what we looked at is that a lot of money is leaving the continent, going outside.
Right.
Because we are getting content from outside,
Right.
and we're paying for it from outside.
Right.
Why can't we retain that content here? Africa is rich in a lot of culture, a lot of history that can be tapped into and be gamified.
Yes.
So that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a different alternative for people from the betting. Did you know that we are repatriating almost $75 billion because of betting outside the country?
Right. It's
Why
big
can't-
business.
It's big business. Why can't we create something alternative for the youth so that they can be able to get jobs and also, retain that money in the country and across Africa? It's going to help Africans.
Exactly.
And the
Especially,
African youth.
when you mentioned the content and some of the games that you have created and how you've curated them, these are real issues and you're offering solutions even as you play. So that is tapping into some of the concerns that young people have and, of course, for future generations. For someone who has never quite understood gaming and they would like to try, run us through a typical game. I've seen Let It Rain. Today I'm playing a song on the record rumble called Rain by SWV. So I'm looking at that particular one.
Yeah.
If I wanted to choose one game on your platform, where do I start and how much do I need to just try and experience it? When you do it practically, you get a better understanding of how this works. And guys, just to remind you, it is gaming for good. I think we've polluted every platform, our media, with just one way of how to game. And how people are using their mobile phones to make a little bit of cash. This one is gaming for good, and I'm drawn to it. How can I start, and how much can I use just to try out a typical game?
So you go to our website, www.usikugames.com.
www.usikugames.com.
And you're able to select whichever game you'd like to play. We're in the week of love. I would like to introduce a game called Beautiful. Beautiful was a game that was designed sometime last year with an essence to target the African girl child.
Wow.
To give her the confidence that she requires, because we've been looking west for beautification.
Exactly.
And so for this particular game, which is, targeting 10-year-olds and above, you're able to, choose the kind of dress code that you want. That is Ankara, if you like, you want to mix and match, your jeans and your kitenge, those kind of stuff.
Right.
Something that is relatable, something that is African. And for this matter, you just need to go to the site, choose that game, play, and you feel good about yourself. That is why we develop Beautiful. Yes.
Wow, there's a game called Beautiful.
Yes.
I'm going to check that one out. I was looking at Let It Rain. There's also a hand washing game.
Yes.
It's the season. It says here the hand washing game was developed during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic to encourage the public to continuously wash their hands to complement the messaging from the World Health Organization and the governments around the world. The gamification of washing hands went a long way to re-emphasize how it is important, and it's also fun to wash hands. I'm looking at the practicality of this and how it's very easy to understand. So video games, mobile games in particular, are the biggest booming industries.
Yes.
What's your prediction in the years to come? Do you see more young Africans get into this and creating content that people can use? And are you mentoring young African creators? You mentioned you have a hub of very own right here in Parklands in Nairobi.
Yes, we have the Gaming Development Center, which is situated in Parklands, Diamond Plaza. So this particular it's a 6,000 square feet open space with internet, faster internet. So, and various, gaming experts who come and they're able to develop games. And if you are interested, you're able to learn the different, technologies and coding and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And we continue recruiting
like
the best experts.
Geek Central right there. I'll be floating. But I'm loving the idea that, you don't even have to be a gamer to participate.
No.
When we talk about the aspect of positive change and how we can impact society, when you play, there is a little bit of money that goes towards certain causes.
Yes.
How much do I need to play a game, and how much do you donate?
So during COVID, we decided as a company that we're going to contribute 50% of the total earnings that is coming from our games,
right?
So that it can help, in support of COVID-19 pandemic,
right,
and supporting other organizations within the country,
right,
like Mombasa Red Cross, that kind of a thing. So, for instance, a game can cost you 10 shillings to play. So you can imagine 5 shillings is going towards supporting the COVID-19 pandemic.
Love it. So the cheapest game, 5 shillings. Perhaps 5 shillings?
It's 10 shillings for now.
10 shillings for now, and 5 shillings goes towards a donation for a certain 50%. Cause. You identify the cause. And I like how timely and relevant a game is. You develop as we go along throughout the seasons and whatever you feel there is a need. Shout out to all those young geeks, those geniuses, those nerds hanging out in Parklands. I love it.
Kenyans themselves doing great things.
Very nice. It's always a pleasure seeing you, Alex. And I hope you get to hang around here. We've got coffee for you. And of course, you can also stream and check this out. How awesome is this? I mean, I saw Usiku games and I was like, what is this about? I saw some people also, contributing on your platform saying, hey, what is this about? It's not about that. But I know it's the month of love and we've got so much we need to talk about. He mentioned the games that you can enjoy, and for very little, you can game for good. And it's happening right here, 100% Kenyan. And of course, I can't wait to see how this continues to grow. In the coming years, we're going to be having more relevant games coming up. And all you need to do is check out the website, www.usikugames.com.
Yes, and we want to encourage more young people to visit our website for jobs.
Very nice.
We have opportunities for graphic designers.
Graphic designers. If I've got a game that I want to pitch for you, can you, just give me a couple of minutes of your time and we can talk, Alex.
Yeah,
I'm going to be following you. How can we check you out on Twitter and on Instagram?
Reach me out at Alex Owiti.
At Alex Owiti.
On Twitter.
Yes.
And on Instagram.